Your credit score plays a big part in your life. It's the deciding factor of getting approved or not by the credit gatekeepers for a credit card, car loan, mortgage, and other circumstances that uses your credit. But why is it so important? Why should you be taking it serious? Credit is used by lenders to measure the likelihood of you paying back borrowed money. Your credit score is something that you have to understand and protect. A credit score ranges from the lowest of 300 all the way to the subtle flex of 850. Once you cross over that 700 mark, you're pretty much golden in terms of low interest rates. And once you get to about 750, 760, you're pretty much guaranteed the lowest interest rates on loans. So what goes into a credit score? How can you get your score to over that 700 mark? Let me tell you, once you understand and master these 5 things I'm about to share with you, your score will improve drastically. But you have to understand this one thing: nothing happens overnight. With most things in life, there is a process, but with anything that requires hard work, the reward will be far worth it. I want you to have no worries when it comes to financial situations involving credit, and I'm sure you feel that way too. Now, trust me when I tell you this: the feeling and confidence that you will have with good credit is a feeling like no other. Before we get started, do me a huge favor and smash that like button below for that legendary YouTube algorithm. It will be greatly appreciated, and it only takes a second. Thank you for being amazing. Now let's begin. 35% of your credit score goes to payment history. Lenders like to see how well you're paying your bills on time. When you're 30 days late, that counts as one late payment. So technically, if you wait till that 28th day to pay, you're still considered on time, but you still might accrue late fees. You have to be a full 30 days late for it to affect your credit score. I don't recommend this because if you do this often, it can raise red flags to the lenders for the fact that you're making constantly late payments, and they don't like to see that. But there is nothing worse than having late payments on your credit score for 60 to 90 days. 30 days is bad enough, but 60 to 90 is just terrible. And after about 120 days, it goes into collections, and that can bring down your score drastically. So just make sure you're out here taking care of your business and paying your bills on time, people. I also want you to know that late payments typically stay on your credit report for about 7 years. So after that, it should start clearing up slowly. Remember, 35% of your credit score is based off late payments. So you just want to make sure everything is in order. I also recommend using apps like Mint or Excel. These are what I use to track when my bills are due. You can also have automatic payment set up as well. I know various companies give you a bit of a discount if you have this set up. Not only that, it'll give you a peace of mind not to have to worry about when your bills are due. The second thing credit gatekeepers use is to see how much of your available credit or debt that you're using, also known as credit utilization. And just like your payment history, this is almost as equally as important, making up 30% of your credit score. So if you have $1,000 in credit, lenders like to see that you're using no more than 30% or $300. Ideally, you want to be using up to 10% of your available credit. Let's break this down. Say you have $1,000 in available credit. You go out and spend $600 of that. When the bill comes due, you make the minimum payment. Now, the lenders will see that you're utilizing 60% of your available credit. And that's not a good thing according to Credit Karma. It'll put you in the red. Because of that, you'll seem like a more riskier borrower when you're trying to apply for credit cards or loans. On the other hand, take that same $1,000 credit limit and go out and spend $600. Now, this time, you pay the balance in full before the end of the month. Now, the lenders will see that you're utilizing 0% of your utilization, which is favorable to the credit gatekeepers, and with Credit Karma, it'll put you in the green. What I suggest is looking at utilization in terms of a percentage and not the dollar amount. It'll give you a better outlook on how much credit you're actually using. It's just a good idea to practice never carrying a balance on your credit cards. It will improve your score and cost you less in interest. Never, ever, ever, in no circumstance, max out your credit cards and pay your balance in full before the end of the month. It'll just make you look better in the long run. So if you currently carry high utilization, don't worry, because once you pay it down, your score will start to improve drastically. The third thing that will increase your score, but over a longer term, is the average length of your credit history. This means the longer you have credit, the better it'll be for your score. And this makes up 15% of your credit score. I recommend building your credit as soon as you possibly can because this would be the base foundation of your credit score. The thing to remember with this is that it uses the average age of your credit history and not the overall age. So what does this mean? Let's say for the past 6 years you only had one credit card, so your average age of your credit history will be 6 years. But today you decided that you want a new credit card. Now this will drop your credit history to 3 years because it uses the average age. You may want to think again before deciding to close any of those old credit cards because the same rule applies. It could damage your score closing old credit cards because the years that you have on them can be deleted as well. And now you have to wait until you get those years back with the new credit cards that you have open. It's kind of like resetting the clock. So start as early as possible and keep those accounts in good standings for as long as possible. It's going to give you that solid foundation because when you decide to open any new lines of credit, it's not going to impact your credit history as much because you have that strong history built up already. According to Credit Karma, you should have 9 years or more in solid credit history for that best overall score. So it's going to take some patience to get there, but it'll be well worth it to see your credit history grow. It's not a big deal as it only takes up 15% of your credit score. It's just going to take some time. The fourth aspect that goes into a credit score is how many lines of credit that you have open, which makes up 10% of your credit score. So with this one, it means the more credit you have, the lower your utilization would be, which means the more payments that you can make over a period of time, which all increases your score. Do you see how everything's connecting now? It shows lenders that you can handle multiple lines of credit. It's also a good idea to have a mixed use of credit, which means credit cards, mortgage payments, or a car note. It's kind of weird if you think about it. Lenders lend to people who don't need money because they'll be more likely to pay them back. But if you actually need the money, the lenders, they'll see you as a more higher risk. In a way it makes sense, but it's just backwards to me. I guess that's how the relationship works between lenders and borrowers. According to Credit Karma, they want you to have 21 lines or more of mixed credit for the ideal credit score. As this only makes up 10% of your credit score, it's not a big deal. It's just going to take some time to get there building upon your accounts. For the fifth factor making up the last 10% of your credit score, it goes to how many inquiries you have. So anytime you go out and apply for a new line of credit or a loan, it's reported to the credit bureaus and it shows up on your credit report as a new hard inquiry. This lets lenders know how many times you're going out asking for new credit. The more credit you ask for, lenders will typically see you as more risky. So generally speaking, the more inquiries that you have on your credit report, the lower your score will be, which in turn lowers the average length of your credit history, dropping your score along with it. If your score drops drastically because you opened a new credit card or got a new loan, just know that the hard inquiry was not the only reason. It messes with the other big factors that takes up a greater percentage of your credit score. Just know inquiries are temporary. They stay on your credit report for 2 years and fall off like they were never there. And according to Credit Karma, they look for 0 inquiries within the last 12 months for that ideal perfect credit score. This is something I don't agree with. As long as you're not out there going crazy opening up new lines of credit left and right, you should be good. So if you're looking to build your credit, it's best to get started as soon as possible so your score can develop and surpass that 700 mark. While on your credit journey, I highly recommend that you check your credit score every few weeks or so, just to stay updated on what needs to be worked on or just to make sure everything looks okay. You can use a great service like Credit Karma, which is free and it updates your score every week. Now, it won't be your exact score, but it'll give you a good general idea of how you're doing credit-wise. Or you can use freecreditreport.com where you can get your full score for free once per year. With that being said, if you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor and smash that like button below for the YouTube algorithm. It would be greatly appreciated as always, and subscribe if you wish to see more content like this. Videos drop every week. This is Detailed Dream. Until next time, thanks for watching.